Hi, this is Talon Jane. This is for my FTT 114 Week 2 practical application, which is your Week 2 Assignment 1. This is for the Kydex press build. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently than most of the other people that do this press. So next we're going to go out to the shop and I'll explain my plan and my process. All right, we're out at the shop and we are going to be building, obviously not the same press that the book recommends building. So I already owned, prior to the course, I owned a commercial Kydex press. This is the, I don't know, is it CKK Kydex press or whatever it is. Comes in two pieces. This is metal. It's the same size press is what the school wants us to build. That's what mine is. So basically how it works is it screws down to the tabletop or clamps down, and then you have two different settings. You can set it low or set it high, and then you put your whatever your knife or gun or whatever in here, and then you just clamp this down. And it's meant so that you can use like a chain to hold it shut. I never found that to be very effective. I usually just clamp the crap out of it with a bunch of hand clamps. However, I found, hold on one moment. Got distracted, sorry. Hand clamps like this. So, you know, you'd be wrenching down like this. There's some issues I don't like about this. So one is when you're trying to clamp this down, you're trying to hold the piece with one hand and you're like trying to shake this out and get it bigger so you can get around the whole thing, and then you're clamping down, and then you get another one and you're trying to clamp down the other side, and you know, it's just, I don't like that the clamping mechanism to it isn't integrated into the press. Secondly, I don't really want to screw this down anywhere, but if you don't kind of like hold it in place, it's kind of unruly when you're trying to do everything. There's nothing wrong with this press. I'm not telling you not to go get it. I just think that maybe there's a better option. So I think, I don't remember what this cost, like 115 bucks or something. I'll show the price right here. Boom, there it is. And then I spent about a little under that for what I'm going to be building, and I think it's going to create a superior press in the end. So here's my items that I'm going to start with. This is the foam the schoolhouse sent us. It is 12 by 8. So what I did was I went to the local steel yard and I had them cut me two 12 by 8 3/8 inch thick plates. Then the rest of this is either scrap me or a buddy of mine had. So I wish I would have had 4 of the 1.5 inch tubes, but I didn't. I only had enough to make 2. And then I had enough to make 2 more of the inch tubes. So these will be the front legs. These will be the back legs. I know you're thinking, legs? What are you talking about? We'll get there. This is some spare plate. So basically I have 2 of these. They are like industrial cutoffs from an industrial type of situation anyways. The point is I have 2 of these. So what I'm going to be building is, these will be the feet. The legs will come up off of here. That'll go to the bottom plate. And then my clamping mechanism is going to be this Carpenter's 7-inch vise from Harbor Freight. So this, I paid full price, which I absolutely hate doing at Harbor Freight. I bought it last weekend as soon as I got the approval not to follow the instructions for this class. I went to Harbor Freight and I purchased this. There was no sale and I had no coupon, which is terrible.
Right, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Because this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and so I would have been able to get this thing probably, 20% off or whatever. But either way, point is, these are about $70. Now, why did I choose a carpenter's vise? Well, I wanted a clamping mechanism that was integrated into my vise for Kydex, and I've seen people use car jacks and the vices like this, or clamps like this rather, you know, that have the deal here where you can, and this is not a bad option. If you can integrate something like this, that way you can slide it up and down quickly and then tighten it down. I just feel like this right here obviously is a little bit more, I don't know, beastie than this is. Not that this does any bad of a job. This is basically what I've been using on my commercial press for a long time. I wanted to build a vacuum press for this class, but having no experience with that, I thought that'd be a terrible idea for a class, so I'll probably just do that on my own later. So the problem with these other clamping mechanisms is that they're not fast, or they don't tighten down good. And I went through my shop and I found, like, I've got this thing, you know, this goes relatively quick and it tightens down fast, but I couldn't figure out how to integrate the plates into here to try and make this old arbor press work. And I looked at, you know, basically everything in my shop trying to figure it out. And on the end of this bench that I'm working on, there's a carpenter's vise. Now, that carpenter's vise is the style where you turn it halfway and then you can slide it in and out, and you get about one full turn before it's tight. This one from Doyle vise from Harbor Freight has what I needed, which is this quick release button. So this button allows this piece down here to slide at any speed you want, and then there you can have as much turning power as you want. So when I get this finished, this bottom part will be stationary. You'll raise up the top part. The plates will be in between with the pads, and then you'll be able to push this button and drop the top part together and then crank it down as tight as you want it. Now, full disclosure, I'm not the first person to do this. I came up with the idea on my own and then immediately started searching YouTube, and I found, I think, 3 videos, and I'd love to link them, but to be honest, I have no idea what they were. So if you were one of those people, I give you credit. There was one guy had 2 presses set up. His was probably the best setup that I had seen. He had a metal bottom. He still had wood plates between. That one was a little bit different. There was another guy had a green one, and then there was a kid who made one out of this exact vise, but he mounted his to like a table and everything was wood. I think in the end I'm going to have, and again, I haven't started yet, but I think I'm going to have the superior product when we're finished. At least superior to what I already had, and then, you know, we'll go from there. So you could do this a lot easier than me if you just get this vise and these 2 plates and then just mount it to the side of a table. That'd be way easier. You do that, you're done. You just can't move it, and you know, it'll probably work just great. So you do that, fantastic. I don't know why, but when I started to weld last time, the camera just cut out. So I've already tacked all these in place, which is silly, but I'll explain what I did anyway. So I measured out and did 1 inch off of the corners, set it at 45-degree angle. I have the big ones in the back, the small ones in the front. I've cleaned up the ends. So every corner has been tacked at this point. And so what I'm going to do is alternate my way around the legs on the sides and try to get a good weld on at least 2 sides, and then trying to let this keep it cool, which it seems to be. So this is doing well and acting as a heat sink. So, all right, so sorry you missed tacking it on. You didn't really miss much, but here we go. Now we're gonna do the welding. far, I don't see any warping. We'll give it a minute, let it cool down completely, and I'll do the other sides. And again, if you're a professional welder and you're watching this and you feel like commenting on my video, just say good job. I already know. Thanks. All right, the clamping and going around in a circle seems to have worked. There's no rock on any way. There's nothing level. It's all still flat. So that's what we were hoping for. That's what we got. So now we're going to I know they're ugly. You don't have to tell me. It'll hold. You know the old saying, grinder and paint make me the welder I ain't. Well, that's what we're working on now. So I've gone ahead and cleaned up this piece right here where I'm going to be welding this angle iron. I didn't mention this when I was doing the initial kind of instruction of what I was doing. I cut this off. This is going to just provide additional support for the vise. So no secrets here. I screwed up and I built it exactly how I wanted until I realized that the vise has to go on the underside of this, not on the top. Because when I put it on the back side here to mount it to the plate that I put underneath here, the vise is on the top. So a couple options here. I could get another plate. Seems like a huge waste. I could mount it on this side, making the small legs the front and then just having this weird plate on the front. I could cut off the plate off the front. Should suck. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. This still hasn't been mounted to the bottom part yet, so it's just the legs. Doesn't rock. So we're good there. Not quite sure what I'm gonna do yet.
One eternity later.
Well, that's the basic concept right there. Once I get it all tapped, drilled, and welded together. Whew. Painted, ground, sanded, cleaned. Well, we set out to make a platform that was strong and solid, and I think we did that. And we got the bottom tapped, so all I got left really to do is tap the top and then kind of round over some of these edges and then paint it. I was gonna say I'll do it tomorrow, but I should probably get it done today. Yeah. I just got finished tapping the top, drilling and tapping the top of it. I don't have long enough of the 1/4-20 bolts for the bottom. I had one that's kind of close, so it's just kind of held in place there for now. But basically, should be able to just about give a demonstration at this point. So now these bolts need to be held up, and then you'll be able to close this down on what's inside of there. It's barely held together right now, so I don't want to go too far until I get those bolts tomorrow. So at that, it's 9:30 at night, so nothing's open because I live in the middle of nowhere, Montana. So tomorrow I will get the bolts I need to hold this up so that this is where it's supposed to be. And then we'll clean it up, take it apart, paint it, attach the foam, and that'll be it. So next time you see me, it'll be in a different outfit. So it's tomorrow. All right, it's the next day, and here we are. I've done a few things since last time, which was basically I got the right bolts for the top and the bottom, which I think I did 1.5 inches for the bottom and then ground off about a little under 1/4 inch. And then for the top, I did 1 inch and ground off like about 1/8 of an inch or something to that effect. So effectively this is done, but it's ugly right now, so I need to paint it. And but basically the pads will go in here. I'm probably going to attach them with like double-sided tape just so that they stay up. And then so you have the ability, you can lower it this way, which is slow and not what I wanted. This is as fast as most of the presses I've seen, so even that is as fast as you're going to get, right? That's pretty solid. Okay, or the better option, the one I personally like, is the fact that we can now raise this up. If I could do it from this angle, we can raise this up. So when I'm working on this and it's facing you, normally this part would be facing me, you just drop this down to where you need it to and then crank it down onto the item. See how much faster that is. It's held solid. I'm going to put a couple holes in the bottom here, one on each leg, and then I'll put some T-nuts under the table. That'll allow me to bolt it to the table and so it won't move. But as you can see, it's fast, it works good, everything's going to be great with it. So next time you see this, it will be done, painted and everything. All right, so we are finished. This is my new and improved Kydex press, just freshly painted. I didn't even wait long enough for it to dry. And this is my commercial Kydex press. This is the CKK whatever it is, Kydex press. There's nothing wrong with this Kydex press, so if you're thinking about buying it, there's no reason why not to. It's a great sturdy Kydex press that'll last you a long time. I've done dozens of holsters, well, dozens of sheaths and a few holsters, a couple magazine holders, things like that in this. The things I didn't like about it, I don't like that it sandwiches tighter from the back than the front. So in order to get the front all the way squeezed down, the back is really, really tight. I don't like that it doesn't have an integrated clamping system. And, you know, overall, just there were some design issues that I wasn't a fan of. Eventually I will go to a vacuum press. I think that that's probably the superior method for Kydex forming. However, I think if you're going to be doing, you know, a press this style, I think that what I've created here is superior to this press. So give you the rundown. I used a Doyle vise, carpenter's vise from Harbor Freight, roughly $70. The rest of the steel, minus the 2 plates I had on hand or got from a friend. The plates were $36 for 2 12x8 plates. The foam came from the school. I had the spray paint. So other than that, a little bit of hardware. I had to buy some quarter 20 bolts that were the right length. I thought I had some that would work, but they were just a little too short. So the plates are bolted to the vise. They're not welded, so you can take the plates off. The bottom part is mounted to the legs, so, you know, I guess if you wanted to take everything off, you'd have a really heavy-duty stool or step. So one of the problems I've seen with all of the vices that are commercially available or people build, you know, using jacks and stuff like that, is they tend to be slow. Like this, you know, you tend to be slow like that. So I wanted something that I could be working in here, which I like the working height of this too. I can be watching what's going on, but I could be working in here. I can grab this and slide it down to the tightness and then really wrench it down after that. So I'm not gonna clamp my hand in there. But basically this allows you to tighten it down. You know, that's just vibrating because it's not attached to the desk yet. Really, you can really wrench it down tight. It gives even pressure across the whole plate instead of it, you know, like that other one kind of goes like this. This one comes down evenly. You know, you can raise it up relatively easily if you want to do this method. Just overall, I'm pretty happy with the way the press works, and I guess we'll see in my next week's assignment, which is going to be the holster. For those of you that aren't my instructor, these videos are going to come out relatively quickly. I have a family vacation I'm going on, so I'll be turning in these videos. You're going to see them back to back to back, but that's my weeks. This is week 2. I'll be working on week 3 tomorrow, which will be the holster for my SIG P320 X5 Legion. We're going to do a competition style holster, so if you're following along in this series, that one should be coming quickly, either tomorrow or the next day, and you'll get to see. What I did was I put some T-nuts in this desk here so I can line this up, and then I'll put these 3-inch bolts down through, and I'll have my heat source right here. I'll have all the Kydex laid out. I'll be able to go in from the heat source to the press relatively quickly, drop it down, clamp it up, and I think everything's gonna work out great. So I think this turned out sharp. I like the color scheme, matches all my Real Avid stuff. So yeah, I hope everybody learned something. I'm not gonna put out plans because honestly, you couldn't follow them if you wanted to. This is, you know, John Moses Browning. There's the biography of John Moses Browning. They said that he never created a gun by putting his plans down on paper. He created it all while he was doing it. That's kind of the same thing here, you know. And I'm not saying it's perfect, you know. Same thing. John Moses Browning had one of his guns was recalled. I'll give you a clue. It was one of Winchester's. So if you know what gun was recalled completely and Winchester had to make fixes to it, go ahead and leave that comment below. That's your trivia for this week. So, all right, I will talk to you guys later, and hope you enjoyed following along with this monstrosity of a Kydex press. Thanks.